Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, War Rabbit, and today we're going to be going over tournament lists from this weekend, and we're also going to be talking about the Balance Dataslate. Wasn't that big, wasn't too impactful outside of a few things, but other than that, let's get into it. So just a quick overview. These are the points changes effectively. Pretty much some minor points changes, a little bit of like 5 or 10 points here and there. Nothing really super major. There's a lot of specific things they probably could have done more with, but they didn't. Necrons probably got the largest nerfs, but it wasn't even, it was like 10 points on some Catan shards. I think they're still going to be, they probably lose a single squad. And then Space Marines got a little bit of a dip, so let's just go roll into that real quick. No changes, Sisters of Battle, Custodes, the guard squad spam got hit a little, so they're a little bit less, like instead of like 3 5-man squads, now they only have 2 and the rest will be 4-man, so they're still doing fine with their triple land raider. I think there's a tournament list out this week that was 80 points short. So it's like, neither here nor there. AdMech, no changes. No changes. You can't take a Warhound for 1,000 points. Too bad. Eldar, nothing really. Wraithguard and the Wraith units got a small points drop. I don't think anyone's going to take them. Azerman got hit. I guess they really don't want Dire Avengers being good. It is what it is. I don't even think I think Eldar has like a fucking 40% win rate, so it's like okay. Rogel Dorn's got hit in Astra Militarum Grizzled Company list with double Rogel Dorn tank commanders, pretty good. So I could definitely see this getting nerfed a little. They're just very reliable units that I can I for 300 points they're kind of getting up there where it's like, are you really going to pay for like a small knight for a Rogel Dorn? But as a guard player, I'm not super duper annoyed by that. I think playing them over Lehman Russes, there needs to be like a um, very big difference, because right now I think the only Lehman Russ that matters is a Vanquisher, and 2 Vanquishers is definitely the price of a single Rogel Dorn, in my opinion. Black Templars, slight change. They're neophytes, and they're the 20-man Black Templar Sword Brother bricks with the Crusader Squad brick are a little less expensive. So now instead of being 310, which is probably was just already a mistake in the first place, but yeah, it's not going to do much for them. Their Repulsor Executioner didn't get nerfed, so that's good for them, but the Space Marine one did, so they're going to be contending with that. So if they run Oath of Moment, like Gladius Task Force, I believe they'll get their original Repulsor Executioners. Astaroth being 10 points is pretty good for Rage Curse Onslaught, so Blood Angels are happy. They also got to change with Blade Guard, related to Blade Guards. That's going to help them out a lot. Chaos Demons got nerfed a bit. 10 points on some Lords of Change right now. I know Tzeentch Demons and T-Suns with like Lord of Change spam are pretty strong right now, so I understand that. Scintillating Legion, that's the Chaos Demon Tzeentch focused one. Infernal Puppeteer going at 15 points. It makes sense. It's a good enhancement. There's not really much to say about it. All these just really minor changes. Chaos Space Marines, no changes outside of enhancement going down. If it can go down 25 points, it must have been dookie for its price. No changes for Dark Angels. Kind of sucks. They could probably drop some points here or there just to shake them up. I think in my opinion, they probably shouldn't not nerf thing, like buff or nerf things. I think they should always buff a faction in the Balanced Data Slate. Just like 5-10 points off of a unit here or there, see what that does. Because like, oh, well, they're sitting at a 50% win rate, like the Archangels, like, oh, Ravenwing Black Knights, just drop them to 75, 155, or whatever, 75, 150. Just to see what they're taking. Take the least used unit. I know what was it, like Asmodai and Azrael aren't really being taken at all a while. So definitely they could have dropped some points there, just for all factions really. Death Guard dropping Chaos. They're Demon Prince and Nurgle. Demon Prince and Nurgle with wings isn't as good as the standard Demon Prince. People are going to keep taking the standard Demon Prince because it's just super strong at T13. Just a hard profile to push. Drukhari, kind of like we got to give Dark Eldar some nerfs. I'm sorry, not nerfs. I keep saying nerfs, buffs. Homunculus down 10. No one really takes Homunculus. Scourges down 5. No one takes Shard Carbine Scourges, and Racks down a little bit. No one's taking Racks really. Normally, what you're going to be seeing is like Witch spam with like a wide play style, almost a horde. and you can't really even collect that right now because like Reavers and more specifically what Hellions right now are just out of stock completely. They were even out of stock with their Battle Force, which is probably not a good thing for Games Workshop. Emperor's Children, they're down. 160 points for Tormentors is pretty good. That's pretty average. I think uh, I think that's cheaper than Intercessors, so they must not be super good. But yeah, nothing too major. I know Emperor's Children, they do pretty well right now in certain matchups, and I think it's like a toss up between them and like Recon Company Guard. So that's actually good for them. Chaos Terminators, you can't take them in 10-man squads for Emperor's Children. Are you serious? I didn't even know that. That's sad. I can't even take 10-man squads for them. Jutsu Growth, no changes again. They could have just dropped something here or there, like I don't know, like lower the Goliath or like not hybrid, like the what is it called? Freaking I don't even know what the lower, like just drop like character sheets because like half their codex is characters anyways. Grey Knights, same thing. They just drop their Terminator squad 25 points. Doesn't mean they're good. I think Grey Knights are suffering from a lack of necessary like anti-tank outside of their Dread Knights, and it sucks for them. It'd be kind of cool. Do they have a Predator squad? They have Razorbacks. Razorbacks aren't a Vindicator. It'd be nice if they had a Vindicator. They have Land Raider. They have Land Raiders, like the Hammer Land Raiders. Maybe if they had like the Adeptus Custodes, like Land Raider profile, where you could take triple Land Raider, that'd be kind of cool. But I doubt you can do that because like standard Grey Knights just don't have the profile Custodes have. So there's always that. Agents, no changes. I feel bad for agents. If there's even such a thing as an Imperial Agents player, I feel bad for them. They have the Inquisitorial Chimera. I think they should just give them like 3 Leman Russes and just give them like a relic battle cannon in 11th and just give them that. Terminators, like a 5-man Grey Knight Terminator squad. They should make they need to buff like half the data sheets in here to make them more fun. Just to play. Other than that, nothing really though. Like they have a lot of anti-infantry potential. They just suck. And like I said, they nerfed Draxus and they nerfed normal Inquisitors. Normally those are the only 2 allies people are really taking right now since the nerf to the Exaction squad a couple like almost a year ago or so. Everything else is kind of doesn't really matter. Imperial Knights down. They're just lowering the points cost of armigers, and they're down on Knight Errants. So you're getting closer and closer to being cost of Rogal Dorn for Knights again. But yeah, I don't. No one's really taking Gallants Errants at 10 points. They might take them. I think people are still taking the like the triple cannon profile, and like Canis Rex is still stomping around, but Knights aren't necessarily in a bad or a good spot. No changes to Votan. Again, they probably could have dropped 5 points here or there on some models. Necrons, they're the ones I got hit probably the second hardest in my opinion. They get hit pretty hard this Balance Dataslate. Like when I say hard, I mean like compared to the rest of it. But yeah, Catan, all the Catan shards are down. Necrosaur up 20, 10 points, and the Pantheon of Woe was practically gutted. The Pantheon of Woe wasn't really the big problem. You're still seeing Star Shadow Arsenal lists with just triple Catan and the Silent King and Necrosaur, and they're taking double Canuck the Reanimator with what's his name? Illuminar Xeris, because I don't care about most of the Necron play style right now. So I don't care really about the detachment benefiting my Catan shards. They're just good on their own. And any extra additional buffs from like the Crota Impedance field buffing the Silent King is what matters the most. No changes to orcs. Probably not going to see any major changes to them. If the end of the campaign isn't like they have Adepticon coming up in a couple of weeks, I think. If the end campaign doesn't contain orcs, but the 11th edition gets announced at Adepticon, orcs are going to be getting a massive refresh. It'd be kind of cool to see a Squigoth, but I think they're doing more of the technological focused orcs. So it's going to be interesting what they get in 11th. But right now, I think they're just being held out to dry. Just hold on. A lot of the stuff is just they're putting duct tape on a leak. Space Marines, outside of Lieutenant with Combi Weapon and the Redemptor, Repulsor, and the Wardens, if you notice, there is no Marnius Calgar in Gravis and no Kaido Sicarius. They got removed, the original ones. You have the old model, and then Marnius Calgar and the Antioch Terminator plate or whatever the hell it's called. Where is it? Predator, Rhino, Reboot. I missed it. Invader ATVs. Yeah, and Armor Antilocus. I said Armor of Antioch. I'm in a Crusader mood. But yeah, so they removed Marnius Calgar and they removed the other Ida Sicarius. I've been saying they should do that for weeks. I didn't think they were going to do it with 11 so close. I think they were just going to bite the bullet, but it's a good change. Marnius Calgar with Victor's Guard were just like one of the most durable units in the game, and they did way too much damage. Wardens of Ultramar going 15, they should not have been 90 points in the first place. I think 105 is still probably a little cheap, but I think at that points cost, they're like priced the same way as I think points per wound is like the same as an intercessor. I might be off by a bit, but yeah. Redemptor going down, Repulsor Executioner. What you're going to see is now they're probably going to go back to Ballistas Dreadnoughts and Vindicators over these. They might, from what I've been seeing, though, they're still taking Repulsors. They're just not taking Redemptors anymore. They'll run Gladiator Lancers and whatnot for more of their anti-tank. So it's just kind of the eternal shift to Space Marine where they have effectively the same data sheet, just for slightly varying points costs. That they can swap between. It's like, oh, do you want to run a Vindicator? You want to run a Repulsor? Do you want to run a Gladiator Lance? You want to run a Ballistas? They all effectively do the same task at varying levels, and they just kind of pick and choose which one you want from what I've been seeing. It's going to be interesting. I know like there's Iron Hand lists out there, Salamanders and stuff. Salamanders and like with Impulsors are pretty fun. I would like to, I think that we had a few like Iron Hands lists and a Salamander list that did well. I might be able to check them out this week. I'll have to look for them. I didn't actually pull them up. I just have this pretty traditional Ultramarine list. No change to Space Wolves, Tau Empire, Stealth Boots down 10. And the big thing is that, where are they? Where's my Twin Lance? Oh, Tidewall, my beloved. The Twin Lance is 160 points, so that's ridiculous. Twin Lances should be probably 200. 240 is, in my opinion, is unplayable. I think they're probably going to push it up to 200. And then either an emergency balance pad, so which people start using it, or an 11th. Stealth Atlas is being down 10. That's good. 20 points a model for a stealth suit, still pretty freaking high, but they have to be that point because they're so important. Effectively, if you run a Ghost Keel now in any of your Tau lists, just reslot that for the Twin Lance, and you're effectively doubling your weapon output. Thousand Suns, again, no real major changes outside of the Lords of Change getting hit. Nothing to Tyranids, which kind of sucks because Tyranids, I think, are at the point where they're just so cheap and you only have a few options. You either have like the Vanguard Onslaught, where you just run in with 3 units of Gene Stealers, the Brood Lords, and a bunch of Hyper Adaptor Raveners and Lictors with like a Neuro Tyrant. What's they called? Neurothrope. Yeah, Neurothrope. Brick. Sorry, Zeronthrope, not Neurothrope. No, Neurothrope's the leader unit. You take that, or from what I've been seeing, mass like Hormagaunt/Termagaunt. I think it's Termagaunt. Mass Gaunt spam, and that's just not fun to play. So it's just like objective. Like if you're going to do that, play Recon Guard. World Eaters, they have the Forge Friend going down a bit, so now people are probably going to bring Forge Friends for fire support. Again, like I'm saying, 5 points. They probably could have done that to every faction, where they could have had like 1 or 2 units, drop 5 points here or there. Nickel and Dimas, doesn't really matter. Nothing else after that, though. So let's get to changes. Again, there's practically no changes. Let's see. Let's just get that zoomed in for y'all so you can see it a little better. There we go. Let's go to 200% so it scrolls faster. Nothing really changed for Balance Dataslate. The only change that I know of that actually happened was Sanguinary Priest can now lead Blade Guard. Blade Guard are basically Victrix honor squads for Blood Angels at home. So putting a Sanguinary Priest in there, I believe you can double attach with the captain too. So that could be pretty interesting for that type of brick now. Other than that, nothing much that I know of. Just keep scrolling. If I remember correctly, Necrons, the main thing is that most of the benefits like Star Shadow now don't affect monsters, and Necrosaur Emitar doesn't affect Yeah, Silent King doesn't affect monsters at all for the Triarch abilities, and they made some changes to Necrosaur Emitar's actual ability so it doesn't affect monsters. It had to be done, in my opinion. You had to nerf it so it doesn't affect monsters. But like Necrosaur Emitar should be able to buff Catan. They just need to rebalance the data sheets, in my opinion, in 11th. If because the whole point of like Necrosaur Emitar's lore is that he's trying to bring back the Catan shards and turn them back into godhood. Um, so it kind of is like a lore failure that he can't benefit them, but I get it. It's a balance state. It's kind of like my complaint with Ethereals not being able to join crisis suits when they have the hover drone. But it is what it is. It's a good change. It's just I think it's a lack of flavor. Everything else, nothing really happened. Marnius Calgar and Kaido Sicarius being removed are pretty much the biggest changes. Nothing here. Yep, it's just like three things. It's kind of a nothing burger for the Balance Dataslate, but let's move on. Going over to tournaments. The first one's going to be the Ides of March. I picked going to be the Space Marines, which is the Stardies, and it's going to be Jeffrey Colpitz. He is running Marnius Calgar and his armor, Roguta Gilliman and Lieutenant with Combi Weapon. I'm pretty sure in the Terminator armor he can still join Victrix. You got the standard intercessors. They're just really good for 80 points. I've been seeing Gladiator Lancer, like I was like again, like they're just pulling in anti-tank options. Like, oh, I'm not gonna take my Redemptor anymore. I'm gonna take Gladiator Lancers, go a little wider. And cursors, they're just good forward operators and they do quite a bit of damage for what they have. Um, Double Repulsor Executioner, they're still taking them, of course, because the Repulsor Executioner is basically like a souped up Land Raider with more shooty power. Scouts for forward operator, Victor's Guard for the hold the line, and you got the Wardens of Ultramar that are just going to stand on the front, and then a Callous Assassin. It's your standard, Space Marine list. I don't think it's going to really change too much. I believe fourth place, let's take a look, was another Blades of Ultramar. Same thing, instead of having like I said, they're switching over to Ballistus. They have Company of Heroes joining Oriole, and then they should have a Repulsor Executioner. Yep. Instead of an Cursor Squad, they have an Infiltrator and they have an Inceptor. So they have a little bit of a like a little bit of a baby change, where they're still having the Wardens, the Victrix Brick with Marnius Calgar, because Marnius Calgar, with him getting the Victrix Brick was pretty big. Let's see what was this also an Ultramarines list, or is this the Iron Hands? Oh my god. All of the Ultramarines lists are all they're all Ultramarines. That's funny. That is funny. Okay, is there any other Space Marines up here that is not Ultramarines? And this is one of the larger tournaments. Ides of March was a 75 player tournament. It was a larger size tournament. Samuel Pope did get second place. He's running the triple Blue Lord, just charge forward and flood the zone with Gene Stealers with like Lictor support. You get the Tyrannid Warriors. I'm pretty sure the Wing Prime's still a little better than the Last Whip guy, but you know, I've seen it happen. Like even if you look at this, I don't want to play Swarm Nids. If he goes up Catans, you basically lose. That's the only way to beat Catan shards. But let's go to the first place. Is going to go to Travis Morton, and his list is going to be a Grizzled Company. It's a little different than so it's basically like Recon Guard at home, in my opinion, from what I've seen. It's going to be a Cadian Castellan, Cadian Command Squad. You put those together with the 20-man Cadian Squad, you have a pretty big order brick that can kind of shoot out with the Master Vox. Then you have the triple Militarum Tempesta Squad that join 3 Tempesta Scion squads. Nork Deadog to jump in to the Cadian squad to take some hits, and he's actually got a decent counterpunch, to be honest. I believe, let's take a look, because you throw him in. Realistically, like melee wise, you're not getting something super huge, but you're still getting like you're not getting the benefits like recon element with the cover and whatnot, but you're still getting the rerolls 1 to hit when you get the order. He's got no enhancements, but where is it? Shooting phase, command phase, yeah. You get that -1 to wound. But let's look at Nork Dagog here, because I actually haven't seen him in a while. Boop, 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 boop. So Nork Deadog, he has a pretty like 6 attacks, 8, 1, 2 is kind of nuts. He gets Thunderous Headbutt, so you can kind of If you select an enemy with one of the engagement with this model, so you just put him at the front. He's got the feel no forward, feel no pain, and he's got the thunderous headbutt. So he does mortals if he gets his D3 plus 6 mortal wounds. I'm sorry, D3 plus 3 mortal wounds or D3 flat, and he's hitting with effectively a baby power fist with dev wounds. And then I believe with the Cadian command squad, the Castellan, because the Cadian commander gets a power fist, the Castellan gets a power fist, and the 2 sergeants of the Cadian squad get a power fist, right? Oh, they get chain swords. Excuse me, they get chain swords. So you throw them all in there. You have a pretty big melee brick that's not comparable to an Ogren, like a Bulgrim brick, but there's still like enough that if you try to charge them with some chaff, or like even like, oh, you're gonna charge your, you're gonna charge what's it called? It's like some chaff units, like an intercessor, salt intercessor, jump pack intercessors, or I get the charge off into your Victor's Guard squad. I do just enough with these power fists to actually damage you pretty bad. And you got a Rogel Dorn. He's got nothing special. He's just a Rogel Dorn tank commander. They do a lot of damage. And then obviously, if you order yourself to do fixed bayonets, you get +1 to hit melee. So it's actually a pretty decent little change there. Kadach and Jungle Flyers for the Flamers. They're just going to run forward with all the forward operators. Krieg in the back line, they just survive. They're not going to really do much. And like they still have plasma guns. They're going to be doing decent actual shooting in that regard. They get the one plasma gun shot and the Medipack to keep them alive. But the Kadach and Jungle Flyers, you get double Chimera. You have triple Kasserkin. Triple Kasserkin, I think 2 of them, I'm not sure who goes in the Chimeras, to be honest. I think it kind of picks and chooses because you have triple Kasserkin, triple Krieg Engineers. They all have mortals on basically demand with the remote mines and the melta mines. They also do a lot of damage. I think these Krieg Combat Engineers, though, are all melee focused. They have 1 flamer, and they got 2 flamers, the hand flamer and the normal flamer. So it's kind of interesting to see that. I would have assumed they would have gone like the melta route, similar to the Kasserkins, but I think the Kasserkins, like the double melta gun and double plasma, is the real damage, and they just hop out the Chimera. And then obviously you have the triple Tempestus Scion squad. So it's kind of saying they're going a little wide on the infantry here. I think it's let's see. So you have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95. I believe that is 105, 110, 115 before HQ units. So you almost have 120 infantry bodies here to flood the board with, and that's not a recon element. I think recon element's pushing almost 200, but you're almost there, and you're doing more damage than recon element. Recon element just scores points. This might actually kill things. So I actually really do like this list. But I definitely think Recon Element right now is better. But this is a fun list, especially the Nork Dog tech. Like you're not charging his squad, especially if he can just automatically do 3 mortals to you. And I believe that's going to be the end of Ides of March. But yeah, congratulations to Travis Morton, Samuel Pope, and Jeffrey Colpitz for getting those podiums. And then obviously the Ultramarines list doesn't seem to change much. But it is what it is. We're moving on to the California Team Championships. It's going to be 200 players here. And we're going to be going to, I believe, we got a few. So I don't know. It's doing WTC scoring, so like a lot of people went undefeated. So here's just we're just gonna do like a quick check with the Custodes. They haven't changed at all. This was the one that's 80 points down. Like he could have fit like an extra unit of like Witch Seekers or something, but he's like, nah, bro, I'll just play 80 points down. Like still got the triple Venerable Land Raider. They're just good shooting. But yeah, so nothing's really changed there. I don't know a lot about Gene Stealer Coats from Floofcox, but yeah, it looks like it's just standard Gene Stealer. I'm gonna jump out with my Neophyte hybrids with the Ridge Runners to get spotting, and then Atlan Jackals. Looks like, are there any vehicles in this list? So they're just deep striking. So he's just going all in. Yeah, the Benefactus. So I don't know much. I have to look into that, but yeah, congratulations for a 2nd place finish. So we're gonna go to Isaric Tarada's list. I believe it's this one. It is a Star Shadow Arsenal with the Silent King, Chrono Impedance Fields. I believe, where is it? Chrono Impedance Fields, the one that gives you reanimation protocol, or was it you buff something? I always forget. Yep, -1 damage, excuse me. I was way off. -1 damage basically every single command phase from was it command phase or was it yeah, in your command phase. So if you go first, your Silent King is effectively immortal. Triple contain shard here. Like I said, they're just good on their own now. And you don't even care. Like you don't even care that the Silent King can't buff you. They're just good anyways. Um Necros or Amatar, again, he's pretty good. And then double Canoctic Reanimator, you just situate them by anywhere, and they just, oh, well, we're just going to give you a little bit better reanimation protocols than a flayed one. That is what, 10, 20, 30 points down, and he still had a little bit spare. So let's double check. Can I find the Necrons here? How quickly can I find Necrons? I'm pretty sure I saw that list is only 30 points less. So he might have literally just dropped. Let's see. Did I roll past it too much? I think Chaos Knights are because Xenos are further down. I think I rolled straight past it. Yeah. Imperial Agents. I'm just scrolling. Here we go. 10, 20. Yeah. It's literally just 30 points down on that list. Like I was saying, it means literally not like yeah, he's what 30 points down for 2,500, so he had 25 points sitting somewhere. How much was so he just added the chrono impedance field to that. So I think normally you take like a destroyer squad 2 or something. So he dropped something for that. Double reanimator. This list is still pretty hard to push, and the Star Shatter, you're just dumping everything into Silent King. All of your stratagems effectively can only benefit all of your stratagems. The only thing that can benefit in this list is the Silent King because he's a vehicle unit. So you're just dropping command point after command point to keep the Silent King alive, and then he survives the whole time because he's got a reanimator giving him bonuses on his reanimation, and then he's -1 damage. So, and then Illuminor Zerus is just there because he's just he has like 3 las cannons strapped to him, and then he uses those las cannons in melee. And then you have the Nightbringer and Catan shards and the Deceiver just rolling around smacking people. So it's a strong list. It's still just I'm gonna take instead of taking think like 7 Catan shards, you're just taking the 3 with some actually better. I wouldn't say better. I'd say just good units, and then obviously Emmentaur, he can benefit some like the flayed ones, but the flayed ones don't care because your whole purpose is just throwing all these massive bodies. If you can't defeat a Knights list, you're not going to defeat this list type of situation. So yeah, congratulations to Isaac Terada. And now we're going to go to first place with Logan Heath, and it is a Montcalm list. It's a little different from what I would take, but it is a Crisis Suit, so he actually has Crisis Suits, and he is an Ethereal. So double Enforcer. They're going to be going into Missile Fire Knives that give the reroll 1s to hit. And I think if they're below half strength, they get full rerolls to hit, and they ignore ballistic heal. So 2 of these guys, they're going into Missile Pod Crisis. Let's hop over to there. I do believe, I'm pretty sure, because the way he's sorry about the flashbang there. The way that he's working it, he's got 4 missile pods, but I'm pretty sure a cyclic ion might be better than the 3rd missile pod, but that might just be slightly off. 18. Oh no, they are 30-inch range, so that's why they're doing it. From what I remember, it's on me because I always forget this. It goes only 18. Normally, you probably for your commander, you'd still slap a cyclic on there, especially if it's not like a flamer brick and you're shooting like a burst cannon brick. But Ethereal's going to sit in strategic reserve until the 3rd turn, and you just drop them on your backfield objective if they cleared it, and then you move on. You got double broadside with heavy rails and twin smart missile systems. In Montcalm, it's pretty good because you can kind of position these smart missile systems everywhere, and just plinking a couple shots while ignoring the ballistic skill modifier is actually pretty neat. Obviously, the heavy rail rifles, you put them with the Montcalm stratagem that makes use so that you target the same thing, get +1 AP. You basically punch through anything that doesn't have an invulnerable save. Normally put them in pairs, but I definitely see that, especially if you want to just drop like you have like a commander spot, and then you drop it into the broadsides. Double Crisis Steam, like I said, He does do the triple shield drone. Normally, from what I've been seeing, you drop one of the shield drones for like a extra gun drone, because then you don't max out, bring it down every time you destroy the unit. I think it's like literally like, instead of getting the max points, you're just 1 point off, but it doesn't really matter too much. If they're most likely not gonna die anyways, but like you have so much bring it down, so it doesn't really matter. Ghost Keel is just a forward deploy. He's probably one of the best forward deploys in the game, just because of how like being able to deploy this type of unit into the front line that's basically unkillable is pretty good. Crew carnivores, you string them out forward, and then you kind of scout move them back. If you're going first, you can scout move them forward. If you're going second, scout move them back, make them hold your backline objective. You can conga line them and have them hold a lot more space. Double Pathfinder team, they're gonna forward deploy forward. They're gonna be the ones that are primary spotters outside the stealth teams. And then you have double piranhas. Double piranhas, you can kind of your piranha, you can kind of just float up the board, launch your seeker missiles, and then just kind of sit there. Now they have to kill a piranha, and piranhas are surprisingly durable. And then you got obviously the triple riptide. The triple riptide's the backbone of the list. If you kill one of them, you've basically reduced the shooting of the entire army probably by 10, 20, almost 15-20%, in my opinion, because a lot of this extra shooting is kind of just like pennies into the big stuff. And then in Montcaw, you just kind of go poop with the ion accelerator. This is like, if anything stands in front of two riptides, you just kind of kill it in one shot. Double stealth suit battlesuit team. They're 100 points now, which is pretty good. And then a Vespa Stingwing for actions. Vespa Stingwing is also a cool little tech, because the Montcaw stratagem that specifies no Crute, you can actually, what is it called? It is pinpoint counteroffensive. You kill the Vespid, and now my entire army has rerolls hits against you. It's kind of a little cool interaction, but it's just kind of the way it is. You're doing it. Obviously, you can do it different. It's just Vespid aren't specified here, so you can use that. It's a cool little interaction they have with Montcaw, in my opinion. Um, Other than that, it's just pretty standard Montcaw. You have the way in my opinion, the way I've seen people deploy is that you basically have half your army on each side of the wings, with your forward deploys kind of converging in the middle. So you have left side's going to be 1,000 points, right side's 1,000 points, and then the middle is kind of like a mix of your forward operators. And that's why you basically see everything have a pair, where one broadside's on the left side, one broadside's on the right side, one crisis knife, and so forth. You're not really trying to focus on the center, because that's where a lot of people tend to deploy. And then you have a lot more sight range on most GW maps if you kind of stay clear of the center. But really depends on the map play out. But normally you have like what I call like the flanks. You have a riptide there, and then because you're in Montcaw, you can redeploy pretty quick. So because it's 10-inch move plus advance, still being able to shoot 72 inches or something like that with the ion cannon. But yeah, that's about it. Congratulations to everyone that podium. So that'd be Logan Heath, Floof Cox, and Isaac Torada. Congratulations, and we're moving on to the next tournament, the last one for this weekend, that I'm going to be looking at, unless there is something else interesting. We have a lot of Tau Empire. We got 2 Tau Empire here, which is kind of makes sense. And this is all, mind you, this is all before the Twin Lance comes out. So we're going to be looking at the Tau Empire first. This one's a retaliation cadre, which is going to benefit even more having a forward deployer that can just take everything out with it and get all the benefits, because I believe Montcaw does not benefit melee. Excuse me, retaliation cadre does not benefit range attack. Yep. That attack, yep. But I do know, funny enough, so actually Ret Cadre will not benefit them in melee combat, obviously, but the shooting's still insane anyways. It's effectively a Ghost Kills level of shooting. So let's go over back to it. So Ret Cadre, I don't know what you drop for 160. Let's see. You take all that. Probably, to be honest, yeah, I just dropped the crew. I just dropped the crew. Maybe the Skyray and the crew squads, and then you can kind of make up from there. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that Skyray is not gonna put out the same amount of power as the twins are going to. But to Commander Farsight, he's gonna go in Starsight team. Commander Farsight and Starsight in experimental weapons and retaliation cadre. It's probably one of the best anti-infantry units in the game in ranged. Shadow Sun, she's just on her own. She kind of rolls around with the Riptides. Giving them reroll ones in 8 is actually pretty big because you can kind of, if you have Shadow Sun, she's we have a stealth team at home. You don't get the reroll ones, but you do have Ret Cadre, so you are wounding slightly better when you're attacking within 12. So it's like if you can get her within 6, 18 of a unit, and your unit's within 12, theoretically speaking, that +1 strength on some of it isn't necessarily better than a reroll 1 to wound, but it's just enough that I think you don't necessarily need the stealth teams at all times. But yeah, it's not really mathematically, it's better than not having a stealth team. But she's also harder to kill than a stealth team, obviously, because she's going to be outside of range, and you won't necessarily need her as much, need the stealth teams to be spotting once they're gone. So it's just kind of like that backup rerolls. Colt Star, it's going to be a burst cannon Colt Star with internal grenade racks. They do have the cyclic, like I was saying, because they're about the same. They're the same size. You still get the +1 AP when targeting infantry from star sights, and then obviously the amount of shooting with the Orokin protocol is kind of nutters. And then you have the Colt Star, so you're just advancing over everything, and you're just dropping grenades. So I believe Cold Star makes you 12-inch move, or it makes you 12 instead of 8, and then everyone gets assault. So you're moving minimum 11. Yeah, and then internal grenade racks are just dropping in, and they are every time you fly over something, every time you end a normal move, so you can fly over them for 12 and then advance afterwards, and you roll 6. You're basically throwing grenades every single turn if you can survive. And then where is it? Does you know what? You could throw grenades, but you would never throw grenades. You just use internal grenade. Maybe you would throw grenades, but grenades makes you give up your whole shooting phase. So I don't know. Torch Star Gambit, from the way I'm reading it, you can do a normal move. So you might be able to double tap with internal grenade racks. It doesn't say once per turn or once per. It only says normal move. Ends a normal move, moved over during that move. Does not have a cap. Now, maybe there is a fact that I don't know about that I haven't read, but from my understanding, you can Torch Star Gambit and then just drop eternal grenade racks 12-inch, because it's a normal move, and normal moves are 12. It doesn't say up to 6, so you are still moving 10 with these guys. Starflag Radiation Systems, uppy downy, missile pods. They're going to go into your Fire Knife team with missile pods. He's just going to be dropping around out probably at 12. 11.59 inches, 12-inch range, and they're going to drop everything into something and then fly away. I believe you can do the Orokin protocol with him as well after he deep strikes to keep him alive, to keep that Fire Knife team going. But I've seen these guys play Ret Cadre, and it's really like a fun thing to see how they move their crisis teams, because these guys die in like if you hit a Star Scythe team with like actually decent, like medium, like stuff you shoot to kill Victor Guard with, right? You're gonna like do infinitely more damage than Victor, because there's just a lot of wounds there to bite through. Crew Carnivores, um, I don't they're not bad. You get the forward deploy, you got one Pathfinder team, double Crew Tox Riders. Crew Tox Riders are good, like just on their own. Like they have like decent punch. Where is it? Like I'm pretty sure they do like the same damage as Rampagers without having like the same speed as they still move the same as Rampagers. And then obviously you can shoot a little bit. They have the repeater cannons, 2 autocannon shots with rapid fire too, but like 3-6-1-2 on a 4 attacks, it's okay. Like if you try to charge that, you get the 3 attacks and the extra attacks. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not bad. Definitely, I think triple Crew Tox Rider, triple Rampager, and like Crew Hunting Pack lists are actually pretty fun. I have always liked Crew Hunting Pack. It's just such an expensive army to collect. And like the new Combat Patrol they revealed while supplies last was like $170, and I'm like, you're just giving me a free lone spear for that price, you know? And it's like, I think I could probably get like cheaper off eBay or something. But Pathfinder team on their own, 90 points. Pathfinders are amazing. They got the infiltrate, so their one purpose is to spot once and then die. And if they live again, they can spot again. Triptide, obviously, it's just the best damage base out of anything, and then you can actually get them within 12. You're probably never going to get them within 6 to actually benefit the Tau. Oh my god, another flashbang. I apologize. You're not going to get them within the actual range, I think, to benefit from the detachment, but you are going to get, stim injectors for the feel no pain. Grav inhibitor drones is pretty good on them still, because you just get charged and oh no, you can torch star them because they are 10, jump shoot jump on a riptide, still pretty good. You can kind of poke in and out. You do get the sustained because it's only battle suit, so getting sustained 2 on anything, getting sustained 1 on every time you shoot into Victor's Guard is pretty good. But other than that, it's okay. It's not you're not really, like, you're trying to get within 12 with a Riptide. I don't think you want to do that. 9's still pretty good. Trying to get that extra AP, that extra strength's good. Like, trying to actually get that extra strength and get close with the Riptides, so it's just not safe. It's like if the opponent moves into you, then you just shoot them. Obviously, like, I'm gonna move back enough, that I'm out of your range. If like like your Catan, like, oh, your Catan charged me, I survived with my feel no pain, and now I'm just gonna shoot you. Probably won't actually do that because Catan will probably one shot a Riptide, but you might. Skyward Gunship, you leave it off the board, you pop it on, just 3 last cannons wherever you want. And then double stealth team and a Vespid. So Vespid's still good. They're just action monkeys, and then double stealth theme. Stealth suits are actually pretty good in this detachment, just on their own. Like, you getting them within 9, and then taking out their chaff is pretty easy because you get AP1 at within 9, and you have 3 burst cannons on there, so it's not terrible. It's not terrible. But other than that, I think that will be the end for this list. Congratulations to Risk Cunningham for coming second in a 60-person tournament. Now we're going to move over to first place with Duncan Caillard from the Gutierrez boys. Obviously, I'm not saying their tournament, their whole teams, but this was a team tournament. It wasn't an actual like team event where you have like 5 teams, but you do have, like, I think they just went in as a team. Dear doctors, if you're reading this, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you want, but I want you to set a skills. I think, oh my god. So he's going with Space Marines with Death Watch, Black Spear, Captain and Grab, and Thief of Secrets. He's just a big beefy boy that smacks things. And if he kills something, he smacks harder. That's all you need. That's all you need. Judiciary Beacon Angelus, that gives you free heroic intervention and deep strike on your unit. So you put that into like an Indominus. Actually, I don't even think he can join an Indominus. You put that into a Fortis, and he will be able to join your Fortis team. And then Lieutenant Kami Weapon is just a good. It's just good. He's just a good unit. He's hard to kill. You can't charge him. He's 18-inch lone op, and he points at an objective, and that objective is now better for you. Tomb of Declades on your Death Watch, Watchmaster. Tomb of Declades, I always forget what it does. Yeah, you get he's basically Gilliman once a game instead of every single time with Gilliman. Intercessor Squad, they're just good. And Death Watch Veteran Squad, Power Weapon, it is a melee focused Death Watch Veteran Squad. So I do believe he does this squad. You might take the Judiciary in it or the Watchmaster. I'm not too sure. It's kind of hard to tell. I do think it is the 9-man, so it is a 10-man Death Watch Veteran Squad. So I do think they're supposed to, he's be throwing the Judiciary in there. You drop down Deep Strike, but there's no outside of that, like the Fortis teams, they're just good. You get some intercessors, and then you get 4 plasma rifles and 2 rocket launchers. It's actually such a cool unit. Like, these kill teams are amazing, bro. Like, I think Death Watch is just such a cool army. Double Incursor. I always forget what the Incursors do. What do they do? Sorry, my skills. Like I know they don't do the deep strike denial, but they're just good for deploy. And you shoot in a shot. Oh, you get +1 to hit from shooting. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's why you're taking them. They're effectively giving you custody shooting, and you get 2 of them, and you shoot different targets. Is it infantry only or anything? After this unit shots, like one that was hit. Oh my god! And then haywire mine. Does he take the haywire mine? I think he does. Yeah, I don't know why not. You just roll up and shoot their big stuff, and now your Indomitor kill teams get +1 to hit. Only 2 Indomitor kill teams. You might be putting the captain in Gravis. I call him Watchmaster in Gravis once, and I was corrected, and I apologize. But I think captains should just be called Watchmasters for Death Watch, and just like, oh well, when you buy him, he's a captain in Gravis, but in the Death Watch Codex, all captain models are Watchmasters or something. But yeah, Indomitor kill teams are really good. They have a lot of shooting. If you've seen people play this with site to site teleportation and the deep strike with, because what you would do is that you slop you throw down the hero not the what's it called, oh, the rapid ingress marker for free. You throw it down and you deep strike in, and you do it on your opponent's movement phase so you can get as close as physically possible. And then on your turn, you're outside of 9. They can't do anything to you, and you just march in and you smack them with thunderhammers. Like that's basically it. The Fortis teams are just really good shooting. I think they only have, yeah, they're just really good shooters. You can put a Watchmaster in there. Bob's your uncle, you know. You definitely, the one thing I do know you could possibly do is the captain and Gravis. You could just leave him on his own, but I think you're still putting him in a Indomitor kill team just because he's just good melee output with the power fists. So the Indomitors can actually go in the scrum, so to speak. They can kind of just walk in. If you come over here, you get I believe you get a couple. How many? Oh my god, what I'm looking. So every 5 minerals, every heavy bolt can go Death Watch every bolter. I believe he did that. Any numbers bombs with the flamethrower with auto gauntlets and 1 frag storm. I do believe you're not taking the frag storm because you don't get the benefits from the shooting stratagems, which you're most likely going to throw on all of them at once. You have no way to regen command points, and you're taking Armor Contempt. Armor Contempt is so effective on those Fortis teams because it's not the Fortis, the Indomitor teams. It's such a cool little faction because you get the Fear tactics with the Malleus. And it's like, oh well, I'm gonna take sustain hits 1, and from my understanding, adaptive tactics. Even if you like first turn, you're not dropping it. You're not using your mission tactics. You're probably turn 2 when you're in position. You might actually use them. 3, 4, and 5. I think probably like 2, 3, 4. Those are the turns you're dropping your tactics, and then running adaptive tactics for 1 command point. Obviously, like Hellfire rounds is probably the best option for the Indomitor teams because none of them have um, devastating hits, and you get 3. It's kind of like a very interesting little team because you get the Melta rifles. So you get 0 to 1 model complete. So you get 1 multi-melta, 2 normal meltas. You get 3, and then obviously if you target the stuff, your multi-meltas are now strength 11. So it's very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Every time you see a Death Watch player do well, it's because they're some of the best. I forget the guy's name. He's like the Death Watch player, and he basically just made it this style. And like prior to 10th, I've never thought of Fortis teams, which is always funny, but it's so cool seeing like looking at this is like an old tactical marine squad, dude. You know, like, oh, like you get 4 plasma, you take a 10-man tactical marine squad, you get 2 plasmas and a rocket launcher. Like it's such a cool little unit, like that's something I'm like actually like I actually think like I think Deathwatch, like I obviously I play Carcharodons, right? I don't have I could run Fortis kill teams and have my own Carcharodons and just run the Deathwatch rules, and I think they're just cool. I like if I was going to take if I'm gonna take if I want to run tactical marines, I'm running Deathwatch because then I can just throw them in and give them cool little and my rocket launchers and my heavy bolter Marines can actually just slot in pretty easily. And then you get the Gravis team. Like the Gravis team is so fucking cool. It's so cool. Like these guys are so sick. I don't know, man. I hope that we get like a Codex Deathwatch in 11th edition. Maybe they just push him into Codex Space Marines, but that's something I really I hope happens. But I do believe it's going to be all for today. Congratulations to Duncan Cagliard and Reese Cunningham. Leo Monti, we'll take a look too, just because he came third place. So he's taking Hellbrutes. Oh boy. Oh, that's nice of him. Look at him. He gave like everything. Oh, this guy's such a cool dude. Look at him. I'm glad I looked at this list. This guy's awesome. So he gives like all of the stuff he can do. So he gives his 4 strats. He's taking his strats. He's taking his gotchas. Every time it's that's pretty sick. So Corn Zerkers, they're rolling around. They get the big boys. You got the rhinos to pull the berserker with Karn and a master of executions. They're going ones into each berserker squad. You got triple chaos spawn because world leaders chaos spawns are amazing. You got the 8 bound on their own. I believe the exalted are getting the slaughter bound, obviously. And then you got 1 Hellbrute, 2 Hellbrute, 3 Hellbrutes. So every time they get hit, they can activate. That's actually pretty sick. Like and then you got the triple jackal. I would have never thought I'd take jackals. Because but I'm pretty sure it's such a cool list. I like this. This is a fun list. But like the triple Hellbrutes, kind of like seeing those like old like triple Redemptor lists. But yeah, congratulations, Leo Monti, because obviously what you're doing is you auto blood surge. You the Corn Berserkers, they have the surge moves. They're getting the buffs, and then Favorite of Corn gives them the third blessing, obviously, and then Berserker Glaive's the one that just buffs up their damage. Yeah, it's a fun little list. He just charges straight forward, and then he expects to win, and that's sick. I would have expected Forge Fiends, but like let's actually look. I'm glad I looked at this list. Because my brother collects oh my god. Let's do Hell. You mean there's no Hell Talon, Hell's Last, Hell Blaster? What? World Eaters? Oh my god, sorry for the flashbang. It's an hour long. No one's gonna watch this, but we must find it. Where is it? Hellbrute? Oh, it's a 1L. My bad. It's British. So food shade and 5/6 use small big attack, small shoot or fight, but when resuming this, I can only target that unit. Ooh. Yeah, this is a fun little dude. That's sick, bro. That's just sick. I'll have to look into this. But yeah, congratulations to all 3 of you guys. Duncan Coward, Risk Cunningham, and Leo Monti. Congratulations for podiuming me at I believe it's a 60-man tournament. Yep, it's one of the smaller ones, but congratulations all the same. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, help me out a lot. If you hit that like button, every like gets me closer to feeling good about myself. And if you want to see more of my content, I stream pretty much every day to the best of my ability. And I try to make 1 video a week right now. I'm trying to get 2 out. Right now I'm recording. I'm trying to make game review content for like Resident Evil. I'm working on that. And then obviously I try to get 1 or 2 Warhammer videos out a week. Probably going to keep doing that. And so the subscription, that's what you're going to get. So helps me out a lot. If you can subscribe, we're close to 100 subscribers. Helps me out a lot. It's my first major milestone. It's pretty sick. And if you have any tips or tricks, drop in the comment section. Maybe I messed up. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Correct me. I'm always happy to learn. You guys know more than me, obviously. The internet combined is much smarter than me. And as always, thank you very much for watching.